Between knowing nothing and knowing everything, there's a zone. And that's exactly where we sit. Not experts, just curious about the world. Welcome to the Buffer Zone. I am Shivam alongside my co host Shehbaz. Welcome to our third episode. Finally, I'm back. What's up, Shehbaz? How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good, Shivam. Hope you're doing well too. Welcome back. I was beginning to think that maybe you planned the illness to escape from my pushback, which I give to you sometimes.
Honestly, I think my body just decided to start a revolution. But jokes apart, I want to thank you for holding down the fort in the last episode. And I did see your conversation with our Iranian friend Nima. So it was great. It was amazing. And it was, I think, much needed because it did give us the boots on the ground perspective that was very, very much informative.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Shivam. I think it was an intense one for sure. It was a bit difficult for Nima as well. It's very important for people, our audience, to know the difference between having someone in the family who's suffering during a war and just watching war from afar or just on your social medias. And it's a world of difference. It does really it challenges you in ways that you don't know. Um, anyways, I'm happy that you're back finally. Now we can basically tackle the big picture. जिसके बारे में या मैं बोलूँ जिससे अराउंड हमें सब टैग कर रहे हैं सोशल मीडिया पे about our
Mm.
nation's stance on this entire war situation. So I think let's dive deep into not only decoding कि हमारी क्या diplomatic strategy है इस war में, but also उसके पीछे के क्या reasons हैं.
Yeah. So, Shabazz, I think a great way to start this or to make this very clear is with an analogy. So imagine you're caught between a person who supplies fuel for your car and a person who builds your engine. You need both to move, right? So, but they've just decided to go on a war.
Yeah, you're absolutely bang on. That is India's 2026 reality. पे हमारे पास US and Israel हैं जो हमारे tech and defense के but on the other hand we have Iran and the Gulf, home to 10 million of our people, and Iran being the heartbeat of our energy as well. So yeah, I mean it's really a very difficult situation.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And some call it, neutrality and some call it indecisiveness. Uh, but in the rooms of New Delhi, they call it strategic autonomy. The art of keeping the lights on when the rest of the world tries to blow them out.
But what does it actually mean? कि अगर तू पीछे देखे अभी सुने about the Ministry of External Affairs की भी it sometimes feels personally to me that Delhi is kind of stuck on repeat.
Exactly. तीन words तो बहुत सुनने में मिलते हैं. Dialogue, restraint, de-escalation. Dialogue, restraint, de-escalation. No matter how many missiles are flying, no matter how many leaders are being killed, ये तीन words are on loop from the ministry.
And I think to an average Joe, they do sound like a safe, standard PR answer, right? कि मतलब जैसे पतली गली से कोई निकल जाते हैं बोल के. But in the high stakes world of 2026 diplomacy, nothing is as it seems. These three words are the front line of strategic autonomy. Think of it as India's no boss policy. इंडिया के जो इंटरेस्ट हैं वो पहले आते हैं. हम कोई तेल अवीव, तेहरान या वॉशिंगटन वाली स्क्रिप्ट नहीं फॉलो करते कि उन्होंने जो बोला हम वो करेंगे.
Exactly.
हम इश्यूज को चूज कोई एक साइड को हम इसराइल को सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं काउंटर टेररिज्म पे, बट हम ईरान को भी सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं ऑन द राइट टू डिफेंड इटसेल्फ.
On point. You take US now, Shabazz. They being our number one trading partner. Our tech economy literally lives on American servers. You take Israel. They being our top tier defense partners. जो भी हमारे LAC और LOC पे we are protecting ourselves. बहुत ज़्यादा Israeli defense equipment से को दिखेंगे. You take Iran then, a geographical gateway to Central Asia, literally bypassing Pakistan via the Chabar port. So different relationships, different needs from different partners.
एग्जैक्टली एंड आई थिंक टू अंडरस्टैंड कि हम जो बैलेंसिंग एक्ट कर रहे हैं एज अ कंट्री, वी नीड टू ये क्यों वर्क करती है. आई थिंक टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट वी नीड टू अनकवर सम हिडन चैप्टर्स ऑफ आवर हिस्ट्री. ऐसे फैक्ट्स जो हम शायद डेली न्यूज साइकिल में नहीं पढ़ते, बट ये जो हम पॉलिसीज हम स्ट्रेटजीज बताते हैं इनको शेप करने में हेल्प मिलती है बिकॉज ऑफ व्हाट हैज हैपेंड इन द हिस्ट्री. आज तू और मैं यहाँ बैठे हैं, इट्स बिकॉज वी हैव अ पास्ट टुगेदर, वी हैव नोन ईच अदर फॉर सो लॉन्ग. एंड दैट्स हाउ स्ट्रेटजीज फॉर्म, राइट? ऐसे हमने डिसीजन लिया आज जैसे पॉडकास्ट स्टार्ट करने का, सिमिलरली वैसे ही इंडिया आज ऐसे डिसाइड क्यों कर रहा है कि हमने इस वॉर को इस वे में हैंडल करना है, उसके लिए हमें पीछे जाना पड़ेगा।
Exactly. So let's look at India's and Israel historical context first, Shabbat. Then you can proceed with the India's and Iran's. I think the proverb, Shabazz, a friend in need is a friend indeed, has literally been proven time and time again by Israel during our tough times. You take 1962 war with China or our war with Pakistan in 1971. All the ammunitions, heavy motors, and even special instructors were being sent by Israel to India for the guidance. Then coming to our 1999 Kargil war, where Pakistani intruders just invaded the high altitude geography, taking a good significant defensive advantage. Israel was the one who supplied us with UAVs, the unmanned armed vehicles, the drones that we used, and the satellite imagery that we used. Very, very helpful, at a time when most of our Western allies were looking the other way. Uh, Also, Shabazz, I would like to add a point, a very significant point in our history, when India conducted the Pokhran 2 nuclear test. I guess it was in 1998, when US and the Western countries were hitting us with sanctions and everything. Israel was amongst the few nations who didn't condemn it. They stood by us. So I think time and time again, they've proven to be a good friend. And also very, very interesting pointer that I found out, Shabazz, during my research for this podcast. The invisible passport. So for decades, our Indian scientists and diplomats used to visit Israel with in total secrecy, without Israeli officials, stamping our passports. They didn't want to leave any paper trail because of many reasons. Couple of them being we didn't want to, upset our Arab allies or the domestic sentiment that we had for Israel for whatever reason. But this was one of the interesting fact amongst the other critical facts that I stated.
Right. No, no, absolutely. Israel has been very, very solid. And you talked about Pakistan a few times. And so I'd like to use that as a segue for my description of the Indian-Iran relations. Why and how can you go against a country that is providing you a no Pakistan backdoor? They say geography is destiny, and India cannot trade right now with Central Asia or Russia through Pakistan. But the Iranian port of Chabar has come, is almost like a very miraculous city in Iran. And it's our physical gateway. It's our strategic backdoor to the rest of the world. That's a massive fact and massive reason why Iran and India share a strong bond. The language of the courts, I think for over 600 years, a lot of history students might know this, that Persian was the official language of Indian administration, law, and culture. If you speak Hindi and Urdu like we do today, we are using Persian words every minute. Words like bazaar, chashma, zameen, etc., etc. So that's something we don't realize, that language also binds us together. And then talking about religion, interestingly, the ancient scriptures of both the cultures, the Vedas in India and the Avesta in Iran, they share a massive chunk of the same vocabulary. So it's almost like we are cousins that have grown up in the same neighborhood thousands of years ago. Now, Shivam, we know why India is taking this particular diplomatic route. तूने अपने इसराइल और इंडिया वाले बताए, मैंने अपने ईरान इंडिया वाले रीजंस बताए. आई थिंक नाउ इट्स टाइम टू टेल आवर ऑडियंस कि in the current war, what steps has India taken with regards to Iran and Israel?
So, Shabazz, let's start off with the current scenario. I'll cover the India and Israel first. In February 2026, recently only, Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, had a historic visit to Israel. And during that visit, the relationship has been officially elevated to special strategic partnership for peace, innovation, and prosperity. And during this historical visit only, a 10 billion defense roadmap has been laid down. And it's not just we buying defense equipments from Israel, but jointly co-producing them, be it, high-tech drones or missile defense systems, under the umbrella of Make in India. which is very, very important and crucial for India's future and economy. And also, Shabazz, I would like to state the fact that after US and Israel launched this operation against Iran, the Operation Epic Fury, um, India didn't condemn it straightforward. Rather, they did a very carefully worded statement calling for restraint and everything. So I believe that many saw this as a quiet nod only to its deep security ties with Israel.
Right. And a question I had for you, Shivam, is like, what was the difference? Like, how many days was the difference between our PM visiting Israel and the war starting?
Uh, the Prime Minister concluded its state visit on, I think, 26th of February, and the war started on 28th of February. So exactly after 2 days. So after a very short duration.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's a very interesting observation. And I guess maybe that's the reason why you've also mentioned it in the I think current scenario, because it was so close to the war, the deals that
Yeah.
took place between India and Israel. Um, coming to India and Iran, I think a lot of people, especially a lot of Western analysts, were surprised because India became one of the few major democracies to officially pay respect for the death of Ayatollah Khomeini, Iran's supreme leader, who was killed on the 28th of February. In March 5, in a move that shocked a lot of people, India's foreign secretary, Mr. Vikram Misri, goes to the Iranian embassy in New Delhi to sign the condolence book. And that kind of also signified, I think, that our civilizational bond with Iran is different or is separate from the Iran and US Israel conflict. Another big one, I think, is the Indian exception in the Strait. We have talked about Hormuz, Strait of Hormuz extensively in the previous episode as well, how important it is. And while Iran has blocked Strait of Hormuz for many Western shippings, they have reportedly allowed India, if I'm not wrong, Indian flag tankers carrying LPG and oil to pass through with security guarantees. So that again proves, that our bond with Israel, sorry, beg your pardon, with Iran is real. And also, Shivam, I was scrolling through, I think, X, and I saw Iran and India handle posting something about our Indian brothers are safe with us or
Yeah.
something along
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
lines, which also made me feel happy, that we do share a bond not just with Israel but also with Iran. So that's again a
Yeah.
unique place to be in. So that's a proud moment for us.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
so Shivam, before we end this episode, we have discussed the Indian-Iran, Indian-Israel relationship. We have discussed what they're doing currently. We need to do something before we can end this episode. You know what's coming, right?
The prediction time.
Yes, yes, it is the prediction time, bang on. So tell me, how do you see this war being played out in the coming week?
Mm, look, uh, Iran lost their supreme leader. They are getting heavily bombarded with missiles and everything on a daily basis. But Shabazz, Iran didn't just survive. They're dictating their exit. So they have, I think, brought US to the negotiation table without even surrendering. So you look at this Strait of Hormuz condition, na? Selective blockade कर रखा है, allowing Indian ships, allowing Russian ships, allowing Chinese ships, but completely blocking the Western ships, be it Europe's or be it US, every Western. So I think they're the ones who are dictating the terms.
Right. And I wanted to make a prediction different from you, but I don't want to do it just for the sake of it. I absolutely agree with you. I think they will continue to dictate terms in the coming week. We might have, the president of the US tweeting something or maybe using his own app, The Truth, and saying something which makes it seem like they hold all the cards. But I think in this
Yeah,
war, no one is holding all the cards. I think correct me if I'm wrong, we feel that Iran holds more cards at the moment.
completely agreed. Completely agreed. So let's see if we both end up being right or wrong. Time is the best judge. Uh, So I think Shabazz, it's time to wind up. I did enjoy this conversation. I hope you did too, and I hope our audience did as well. And since now we call ourselves the podcasters, so it's our dharma to tell everyone to like, share, and follow. the Buffer Zone podcast.
No, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I hope our audience does that for us and helps us grow so that we can bring you more of these episodes each week. Before we finally conclude, amateurs
Yeah.
seek the sun, get eaten. Real power lies in the shadows. This is the Buffer Zone. See you next week.
See you. See you, everyone.